Welcome. In this video, we're going to be looking at functions and relations. So let's start off by looking at what is a relation. A relation is just a set of ordered pairs. So that just means we have a set of values that are connected to some other value. So it could look like a set of points like this. These are just coordinate pairs, x, y values. It could look like a table. This tells us this x value goes with this y value. It could also be a graph, right? This is just a relationship between infinitely many points. Each of these little points here on a graph has an x value and a y value that goes with it. So we're going to be more concerned today about functions because functions are a specific type of relationship that is going to be more helpful and more important. So what a function is that it is a relation that pairs each input value with exactly one output value. So really we can think about this, that if I put something into the function, I know what I'm getting out. It's not that it could be something else based on what we're getting. So another way to think of this is that x cannot repeat. It's okay if y repeats. You can get out the same thing lots of times. But if I tell you my x value is 1, you should be able to tell me for sure what the y value is. My x value is 1, my y value is for sure 6. If my x value is 2, my y value is 4. It goes with that. If my x value is 0, my y value is 3. I know for sure what it is. Versus if we have something like this up here, if I tell you my x value is 4, my output could be 2, but it also could be 3. This is not a function. We can see that in the repeated x value here. You could think about it. If I tell you my input's 4, you don't know what the output is. Same thing up here with this set of ordered pairs in this relation. If I tell you my input's -2, my output could be 3, or it might be 10. I don't know. That would be enough in itself to say that that's not a function. But also we have this repeated 0 here as well. So if I tell you the input, if I tell you the x value, you don't know for sure what the y value is. We'll come back to our graph in just a minute. Okay. Domain is the set of all of the first coordinates. So it's our x values. I've also used the term inputs. It's what we're putting into our function. It's also the independent variable. Okay, so all of those things go with domain. So the domain of this relation here is -2, 0, -2, 0. And if we were going to write that, since it's just a set of points, we're going to use those curly braces, and you only have to write each one of them once. So we have the values -2 and 0. Okay, the range is the set of all of the second coordinates, or our y values. Are also the outputs. So what we get out of our function, or the dependent variables. So the range here are these y values. And again, if we were going to say what that is, since they're specific values, we could just make a list. Again, you only need to list each one once if they repeat. In this case, though, they don't repeat. So we have those 4 values are our range. Okay, so once we've talked about that, now let's go back to our graphs. So if we're looking from a graph, the easiest way to tell something is a function is using the vertical line test. And what the vertical line test says is that if any vertical line, vertical this way, crosses a relation more than once, the relation is not a function, because really what we're doing is we're picking an x value and saying, okay, here's my x value that I'm picking. It goes all along this value. And do I have more than one y value for that? So if I look at this graph here, if I put a vertical line here, for this x value, it has 3 different y values. not a function. Okay. For this x value that they drew here, it has 3 different y values, not a function. Okay. Here, anywhere I draw a vertical line, it's only going to meet my function one time. So yes, this is a function. No, this is not a function. So let's look back at our graphs up here and check to see if they are functions or not. Okay, so we have this graph here. This is subtly going out. So any place I put a vertical line here, yep, it's only going to cross once. So this is a function. If I look at this graph up here, this vertical line crosses twice. So this is not a function. It does not pass the vertical line test. Okay, so let's look at a few more examples here, just deciding if we have a function. So determine whether each is or is not a function. So here we have 2 graphs. So let's look at our vertical line test here. Only goes through that one point. That's totally fine. Here through that one point, here through that one point. Uh-oh, over here, this vertical line, my x value of -2 has 1, 2, 3 different y values. So that is not a function. Okay, this graph here, any place I draw a vertical line, it's only going to cross there once. So yes, it is a function. Okay, so from a graph, that vertical line test is a great tool to use. If you have a set of ordered pairs, I am only worried about my input values. If they repeat, it's not a function. If they don't repeat, it is a function. So here we have 2, 2, 2, 2. If I told you I put in 2, you don't know. I might get 4, I might get 5, I might get 6, I might get 7. Not a function. Okay, here 0, 3, -5, 4. They're all different. Yes, it is a function. Okay, different way to look at ordered pairs, but we're still just looking at ordered pairs here. So I'm looking at my x values. Oh, repeats, not a function. Does not repeat, yes, a function. And look here, I don't care that the y repeats. If I tell you I put in 0, you know I get 1. If I tell you I put in 4, you know I get 1. Okay, and one last one here, 2, 5, 8, 1, yes, function. Okay, let's look at one more way to look at so we looked at ordered pairs, graphs, tables. These are called mapping diagrams. So a mapping diagram just shows you what is your input and what outputs does it go to. So we're really looking, does one input go to more than one output? So 4 only goes to 40, 3 only goes to 30, but 2 goes to 20 and 40. So this is causing an issue, not a function. Okay, here 10 goes to 15, 20 goes to 45, 30 goes to 25, 40 goes to 35. Each one of my inputs goes to only one output. So yes, this is a function. You can't see that. There we go. Okay, that is all I have for you for looking at functions relations. Thanks so much for watching this video.